Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text number 11. Purushava vai lokaha sapalaha purvakalpitaha loker amushyava yavaha sapaleriti shushruma. Purusha, the universal form of the Lord or Virat Purushaha. Avayavahe, by different parts of the body. Lokaha, the planetary system. Sapalaha, with respective governors. Purva, formerly. Kalpitaha, discussed. Loke, by the different planetary systems. Amushya, his. Avayavaha, different parts of the body. Sapaleha, with the governors. Iti, thus. Shushruma, I heard. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Excuse me. O learned Brahmana, it was formally explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in different parts of the gigantic body of the Virata Purusha. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virata Purusha. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that? Text number 12. Yavan kalpo vikalpa va yatha kalo anumiyate bhuta bhavya bhavachabda ayurmanam cha yat sataha. Translation. Also please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the future of time indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living beings known as the demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe. Purport. Past, present, and future are different features of time to indicate the duration of life for the universe and all its paraphernalia, including the different living beings in different planets. I'll read 2 more verses, then we will discuss it. Excuse me. Text number 13. Kalasyanugater yatu lakshyate anvibrihatyapi Yavatyah karma katayo yadrashrir dvijasattama. Translation. O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action. Last verse for today. Yasmin karma samavayo yatha yenopagrahyate gunanam guninam chaiva parinamam avipapsatam. Excuse me. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures. Purport. The actions and reactions of all works in the material modes of nature, either in the minute form or in the gigantic form, are accumulated, and thus the result of such accumulated actions and reactions of karma or work become manifested in the same proportion. How such actions and reactions take place, what the different procedures are, and in what proportion they act are all subject matters of Maharaj Parikshit's inquiries from the great Brahmana Shukadev Goswami. Life in the higher planets, known as the abodes of the denizens of heaven, is obtained not by the strength of spacecraft, or as is now being contemplated by the inexperienced scientists, but by works done in the mode of goodness. Even on the very planet we are now living, there are restrictions upon the entrance of foreigners into a country where the citizens are more prosperous. For example, the American government has many restrictions for the entrance of foreigners from less prosperous countries. The reason is that the Americans do not wish to share their prosperity with any foreigner who has not qualified himself as a citizen of America. Similarly, the same mentality is prevailing in every other planet where there are more intelligent living beings residing. The higher planetary living conditions are all in the mode of goodness, and anyone desiring to enter the higher planets like the moon, sun, and Venus must qualify thoroughly by activity in complete goodness. Maharaj Parikshit's inquiries are on the basis of proportionate actions of goodness which qualify one in this planet to be promoted to the highest regions of the universe. Even on this planet of our present residence, one cannot achieve a good position with the social order without being qualified with proportionate good work. One cannot forcibly sit on the chair of a high court judge without being qualified for the post. Similarly, one cannot enter into the higher planetary systems without being qualified by good works in this life. Persons addicted to the habits of passion and ignorance have no chance of entering the higher planetary systems simply by an electronic mechanism. According to the statement of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 25, persons trying to qualify themselves for promotion to the higher heavenly planets can go there. Similarly, persons trying for the Pitralokas can go there. Similarly, persons trying to improve the conditions on this earth can also do that, and persons who are engaged in going back home, back to Godhead, can achieve that result. The various actions and reactions of work in the mode of goodness are generally known as pious work with devotional service, culture of knowledge with devotional service, mystic powers with devotional service, and at last devotional service unmixed with any other varieties of goodness. This unmixed devotional service is transcendental and is called para bhakti. It alone can promote a person to the transcendental kingdom of God. Such a transcendental kingdom is not a myth, but it is a factual as the moon. One must have transcendental qualities to understand the kingdom of God and God Himself. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we see many questions have been asked by Parikshit Maharaj to Shukadev Goswami in Naimisharanya. First of all, Parikshit Maharaj addresses Shukadev Goswami, his spiritual master for that time, as learned Brahmana. Learned Brahmana. Brahmana is supposed to be very learned, and the qualities of Brahmana are given to us by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text number 42. Samodamas tapasocham kshantir arjavam evacha jnana vijnana astikyam brahma karma swabhava jam. These are the qualities of a Brahmana. So if someone calls oneself a Brahmana, that would mean that they do possess all these qualities. What are these qualities in English? Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. All these qualities make one a Brahmana. Not by birth. Just because I'm born in a Brahmana family, automatically I do not become a Brahmana. I need to develop those qualities, just as a person born in the family of doctors does not immediately become a doctor, but no, has to qualify to become a doctor. So these are the natural qualities of a Brahmana. So after addressing Shukadev Goswami in such a high level as a learned Brahmana, he wants to know, he knows, of course, has knowledge that all the planets, all the planetary systems, they are in the Virata Purusha, which is the universal form of the Lord. But Parikshit Maharaj wants to know what is their actual position. He has so many questions, and Prabhupada says, questions are a sign of intelligence. So he's inquiring because he wants to clear all his doubts. Unless we remove all our doubts, we will not be able to become self-realized. So here Parikshit Maharaj is showing by example that we need to inquire. When we inquire, then that means we want knowledge. And it's not blind faith. Because someone said do this, this and this, we just don't go ahead and do. We inquire. So here Parikshit Maharaj wants to know the duration of time. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, time I am. He is the time. So he wants to know what is the duration of time between creation and annihilation. We have heard from Srimad Bhagavatam, there are two annihilations that take place. There is partial annihilation when Lord Brahma completes 24 hours of his day, when his whole day is over, this partial. But when his 100 years are over, at that time there is complete annihilation. And we've heard that the 100 years of Lord Brahma are equal to 311 trillion and 40 billion years of our earthly years. So here Parikshit Maharaj wants to know what is the duration of time between creation and annihilation. And guess what? Everything is documented in Srimad Bhagavatam. We get all the knowledge about the planetary systems, about how the time works, about karma, about everything. Everything is there. The nature of time, the past, the present, and the future. It also gives us knowledge about duration of life of demigods, life of human beings, different living beings in different planets, right? So all these planetary systems, they have residents over there. There are people, living entities living in these different planetary systems. Now, while Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring, he also addresses Shukadev Goswami as the purest of Brahmanas. Purity, very, very important. If one has made up a decision, has chosen to become self-realized, then the first step is purity. Because one working in pure goodness is essential for self-realization. A Brahmana needs to be pure inside out, internally and externally both, which means one has to be pure in body, in mind, in senses, even the intelligence and consciousness. Everything has to be pure. And how does that happen? One is able to achieve that purity with a very simple process. Srila Prabhupada has explained that when we chant the holy names attentively, when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, with full attention, we are hearing what we are chanting because these sound vibrations are very powerful. And these sound vibrations from the ear, they enter straight into the heart and cleanse the heart. That is how we become pure. You see, attentive chanting. So Parikshit Maharaj, he also wants to know the cause of different durations of time, beginning from, like beginning of the time, following the course of action, how karma works, how actions and reactions, how different modes of material nature work on different living beings. We've learned this in chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, modes of material nature, ignorance, passion, and goodness, and how to transcend these three modes and come to the mode of pure goodness, you see. Because it is when we operate on the mode of pure goodness, then and only then we'll be able to promote ourselves to the spiritual world. So based on how the modes, in what modes each living being is working, they are either promoted or they are degraded. Where? Into different species of life. So it is up to us, our actions will determine whether we get promoted or degraded. So these are very, very important questions of Parikshit Maharaj, you see. So this promotion and degradation is there for every living being. And Prabhupada explains it includes the demigods and even the insignificant creature. Everybody. So that means one has to be very careful about the actions that one performs and also in what mode are we performing those actions. Very, very important, you see. Because all the actions that we perform, they get accumulated. The reactions get accumulated. It doesn't matter whether, we are performing actions which are very, very small or very, very big. No, it doesn't matter. The result is manifested in the same proportion in which we have accumulated the reactions. And based on that, we face happiness or distress in this material world. It's all our actions that have accumulated all the reactions. So one may say, oh, I didn't know about it. It doesn't matter. Ignorance is not bliss. We cannot use ignorance as an excuse to escape karma. No. Karma will work whether we like it or not. Whatever actions we perform, we will definitely get reactions whether we like it or not. Just a very nice example Prabhupada has given is, say that there is a candle burning, right? So if a child puts a finger in the candle, is it going to burn? Definitely. Just because the child doesn't know fire burns doesn't mean it's not going to burn the finger of the child. It will burn. Excuse me. So, Parikshit Maharaj wants to know, how does karma work? It's good for us to know, because then we will be able to contemplate on our actions. We will be more careful about what actions we perform. Now, Krishna has already explained in detail, in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 3 and 5 about different kinds of karma. There's karma, akarma, vikarma, what happens when we perform certain actions. But here, Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining to us how karma works again. Why? Because it's very important. Why did Krishna choose 2 chapters in Bhagavad Gita on karma yoga? Because it's very important. Until and unless we understand that every action has a reaction, even though we may do it hidingly, but the Supreme Lord can see everything. He watches everything. And there is a supercomputer in his kingdom which records everything. And guess what? It never gets any virus. It does not, shut down or anything. Nope. It's a spiritual computer. So we got to be very careful of our actions, the actions that we perform. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam also explains to us, now Parikshit Maharaj is asking so many questions about planetary systems and the creation and annihilation, etc. So Bhagavatam explains that there is material world and the spiritual world. So the material world is only 1/4 of the creation, but the spiritual world is 3/4 of the complete creation. And all the spiritual planets, they are called Vaikunthas. And then there are these material planets, and the highest material planet is Brahmaloka, which is also known as the heavenly planet. But according to Bhagavad Gita, we come to know that even if one reaches the highest material planet, which is Brahmaloka, there is a possibility of falling down into this material world. Brahma bhuvana loka punar avartino arjuna mamopetya tukantaya punarjanmana vidyate. If you don't want punarjanma, if you don't want to come back into this material world, then we need to aim for spiritual world, which is Vaikuntha. Because Krishna says those who come to my planet, to the spiritual world, they do not fall down again in this material world. You see? So very important to have a goal in life, not just live randomly. Okay, live like a robot, in a mechanical way. Wake up in the morning, shower, breakfast, office, etc., go to sleep and back again next day to the same routine. No. This human form of life, which has given us philosophical intelligence, is supposed to be used to understand who am I, where have I come from, why am I suffering, and where do I go from here. There has to be a goal in life, that we want to go to a place where there is permanent happiness. And Srila Prabhupada, in his purport, he mentions that those who reach the heavenly planets, which are again material planets, they achieve that by their actions, by the work they have done. They have performed work in the mode of goodness, and that is why they have reached that heavenly planet. We cannot go there in a spacecraft. That, today I decide I want to go to Brahmaloka, and then let me just sit in a spacecraft. No. There are living entities on all the planets, and they have reached there based on the actions they have performed. You see? There's another nice analogy or example that Srila Prabhupada gives is that, there are restrictions on entry into prosperous countries, right? Not easy to get a US visa or US citizenship or US green card. It's not easy at all. One has to qualify. To qualify, one has to, have accumulated a lot of documents, etc. And when one is qualified, then one gets a visa stamped on their passport. Similarly, restrictions are there. We cannot just enter into heavenly planets just like that. We need to be qualified. We need to have a visa of those heavenly planets to be able to enter there, right? So just like Prabhupada says, the Americans do not want to share their prosperity with any foreigner, the same mentality is there in different planetary systems also. They do not allow anyone just walking into those planets without qualification. No. The person has to be, working at least in a mode of goodness. There has to be qualifications. So this is what we learn from this one verse also, where Srila Prabhupada gives such nice analogies and explains to us that one has to be in complete goodness to be able to go to heavenly planets. But if one wants to go to the spiritual planets, then one has to be in the mode of pure goodness. And Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 explains to us how we can go from ignorance to passion to goodness and then transcend to the mode of pure goodness. Srila Prabhupada has given us a very easy process. Just to come to the mode of pure goodness, simple process. And it begins with chanting. Chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant attentively, then gradually the heart becomes free of all unwanted things, all the anarthas like lust, anger, greed, pride, all of that is removed and the heart becomes pure. Then automatically the senses, the mind, the intelligence, the consciousness, everything becomes pure. There is no more contamination, you see. So we need to follow the process, just like Prabhupada gives another example in the purport that one cannot sit on the chair of a high court judge just like that. No, one has to be fully qualified, right? Has to go through, take on that knowledge, get the degree, then come to the stage of becoming the high court judge. Similarly, we cannot enter into the heavenly planets or higher planetary systems without any qualifications. Those who are in the lower modes definitely cannot enter into the higher planetary systems. A very nice reference is given by Srila Prabhupada in the purport from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text number 25. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. That those who worship the demigods, they go to the planet of demigods. Those who worship their ancestors, they take birth where the ancestors are. Those who worship ghosts, they go and live with the ghosts. But Krishna says, those who worship me, those who worship Krishna, he says, they live with me. Where? In his spiritual kingdom. So it is up to us. We choose. We choose our destination. For instance, after this class, then I will be going to the temple. That's my destination. Now, if I don't know how to reach the temple, I'll use the GPS. There I'm going to put in the address of the temple, and then that GPS is going to guide me to the destination, right? So our GPS is G for Guru, P for Parampara, S for Sadhu, Shastras. Guru, Parampara, Shastras. That means we follow the instructions of Guru. Srila Prabhupada is our eternal Shiksha Guru. Then we follow the Parampara, which means the Acharyas who are coming down in the disciplic succession. And S is for Shastras. That is Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's our GPS system that is showing us how to reach our destination. See? But the choice is ours. We need to choose which is going to be our destination, and then we need to act accordingly. Then if our destination is the spiritual world, then we need to act in the mode of pure goodness. If that is not possible, then at least in the mode of goodness. Then we will be able to gradually go on to the mode of pure goodness. You see? So our actions and the mode in which we operate is going to decide our destination. So first thing that we need to do is choose our destination and then input our address over there. You see? Bhagavad Gita has given us so much knowledge. It's a treasure house, just like Srimad Bhagavatam. It's telling us how, first of all, to figure out in which mode am I operating, right? We need to know, where am I? What is my position? And then choose a destination and then work towards it. It's all based on knowledge. It's not just random, it's not hearsay, it is not blind faith, it is based on knowledge. Why is it that we have a Srimad Bhagavatam class every morning? So that we can take on this knowledge, contemplate on it. Srimad Bhagavatam is not a ritual. We are not doing a ritual every morning that let me attend a Bhagavatam class and then I'm done for the day and then let me go about my business. No. After Bhagavatam class, we think about it. We think about what did we hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam and then contemplate on it and then see what can I learn and how can I put it into practice in my life? Srila Prabhupada explains that if a person is in ignorance, then one can gradually work towards coming to the mode of passion. And then one can gradually work towards coming to the mode of goodness. And then finally have an aim, which is pure goodness. See, it's only what actions we perform that is going to take us to our destination. There is no other way. No other way. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that those who work in the mode of goodness, they may do pious activities along with devotional service. Or they, take on knowledge along with devotional service. Or may want mystic powers along with devotional service. But the best is unmixed devotional service. Rupa Goswami explains this, Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Navritam, that our devotional service should be pure. It should not be mixed with anything, karma, jnana, or anything. Has to be pure. And Prabhupada says this pure bhakti is called para bhakti, topmost. And it is only this pure devotional service that will help us to go back to the spiritual world, if that is our aim, if that is our goal, if that is our destination, only then. So what do? We need to take this knowledge from the scriptures and help ourselves to deliver ourselves, become self-realized, and go back to the spiritual world where we actually belong. But someone may say, well, I haven't seen God. I haven't seen His kingdom, so I do not believe in it. It's their loss, right? Just like I haven't seen, I haven't seen Australia. Does that mean it doesn't exist? Just because I haven't seen it? No. We have knowledge from authoritative sources that there is a continent called Australia. It exists. So just because I haven't seen God, I haven't seen His kingdom, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if we have that mentality, then it is our loss. Bhagavad Gita actually gives us knowledge, right? Krishna Himself says that my abode is Chintamani Dham, where there is no need for electricity, no need for sun or moon. Nothing is required because it is self-sufficient. It is illuminated by the effulgence coming out from Krishna's transcendental body. And the scriptures, the Shastras, they are giving us knowledge. They are giving us all the knowledge that we require to understand who is Supreme Lord. He is Krishna. What is His kingdom like, the spiritual world? It explains the different spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas. It explains all the material planets, about time, about everything that we can think about. The scriptures give us all that knowledge. So it behooves us to have that basic faith, that Shraddha, and follow the scriptures. So here we see Parikshit Maharaj, he's asking so many questions for himself? No, for us. Because after 7 days, he's going to die and he'll go back to the spiritual world. But he wants to leave behind Srimad Bhagavatam for us. He's asking those questions so that Shukadev Goswami can answer them and we can get benefit out of it. That is the purpose. So when devotees ask questions, it is not just for themselves, it is a benefit for entire community. Now Parikshit Maharaj was Mahajana, great devotee, and he inquired so that we living entities, we human beings in this Kali Yuga are able to uncondition ourselves. Unconditioned, very, very important. That means we are conditioned. What is the conditioning that is there in most people? I am not this I am this body. I'm going to live forever. My family, relatives, all are going to live forever. I'm going to be happy always. What other illusions do we have? We have so many illusions. These are all conditioning. There is no life after death. Enjoy life to the fullest. They even have conditioning that happiness is watching sunset, walking on a beach. So many different conditioning is there where we think this is what is life all about. So Srimad Bhagavatam is helping us to uncondition ourselves, to remove that conditioning. One time, Prabhupada was, a reporter told Prabhupada that you're brainwashing people. Prabhupada said, yes, I'm washing the brain because it has a lot of junk in there. It has a lot of conditioning in there. So I'm washing it and I am giving them this knowledge so they can remove that conditioning which has been there since many lifetimes. So Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are giving us all this knowledge so that we can uncondition ourselves. We can remove all this conditioning and qualify ourselves to go back to the spiritual world. So here we see Parikshit Maharaj asking so many questions. Questions about different planetary systems, questions about how time works, and very important question, how does karma work? In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, karma is very complicated, very difficult to understand. But if we just understand every action as a reaction, then we should become more vigilant about our actions and make sure that all the actions that we are performing, are they according to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, our GPS. Guru, Parampara and Shastra. Are we following according to this Trinity? Then we are safe. And Bhagavad Gita teaches us, Krishna says that we are supposed to do our work, but we are not entitled to the fruits of our activities. That's why all the actions that we perform have to be performed like a sacrifice for Krishna. Yagnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tad artham karma kantaya mukta sangaha sama. If we want mukti, liberation, if we don't want to get entangled in our actions, then work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Krishna makes it very clear. He doesn't say may be performed, can be performed, if you like. No. He says it has to be performed. If we want to disentangle ourselves, if we want to uncondition ourselves, if we want to remove the conditioning, if we want to purify our heart and consciousness, then this is the process. So we are very grateful to Parikshit Maharaj for inquiring. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was inquiring for our benefit. Arjuna, a pure devotee, knew everything, had the knowledge of the scriptures, but he still inquired because he also knew Kali Yuga is approaching, where people are going to be restless, unlucky, misguided, lazy, quarrelsome, so many disqualifications. So they need this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Parikshit Maharaj also knew we need this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, and so he was ready to accept the curse that he got, that he's going to die in 7 days, so that Srimad Bhagavatam can be spoken by Shukadev Goswami and we can get the benefit just by sitting at home. And thanks to Mr. Zoom, we don't even have to be present in person in one place to hear. We can hear Srimad Bhagavatam no matter where we are in this material world. So we are very, very fortunate that we have these scriptures They are the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedic literatures, and Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all of it. So we are very fortunate. We should take it, accept it very sincerely and seriously, and follow this process of Bhakti Yoga so that we can qualify ourselves, condition ourselves spiritually so that we can go back to the spiritual world. So I'm going to end now.